Alright, hey Maggie, hey Vaishnavi. It is so good to talk to you both again. It feels like it's been forever since we last saw each other, even though it's only been like, what, a few weeks? I don't know, I lost count. But I am so excited to talk to you now virtually because I am in London. I'm in my flat right now and we have a cool view of the road and all of the people who have been jackhammering on the road all night, so that's super fun. But yes, I am so excited today to talk about our first Back At Ya topic, which is sexism in film. And Vaishnavi, I thought that you gave a super interesting and very critical analysis of certain sexist film tropes in the last video, and I'm gonna link it down in the description in case anyone wants to watch it, if for some reason they haven't yet. So today I'm gonna give my take on this topic. So let's do this. I admit that when we decided we were going to do sexism in film, I was a little bit nervous because I thought everything I know about film is pretty much from the gyno rap. Everything I know about filmmaking and about film study, I don't really know anything. And so I started making a list of my favorite movies to see if I could go off of that. So let's read the list that I came up with. All right. Good Will Hunting, Die Hard, Perfume, 12 Years a Slave, Lincoln, Sweeney Todd, The King's Speech, Shakespeare in Love, Gone Girl, Lady Bird, Rocky IV, because it's the best one, and if you disagree, you're wrong, Dunkirk, Malcolm X, All the President's Men, Stand and Deliver, The Big Short. Okay, so what can we deduce and extrapolate based on this list? First of all great films, 10 out of 10, would recommend. And second, I noticed that 15 out of 16 of my favorite movies had male directors, and 14 out of 16 had male protagonists. I'm gonna exclude Shakespeare in Love because William and Viola are kind of co-protagonists? Anyway, I thought that was really interesting and it kind of struck me, and I thought, well, am I a bad feminist for liking male-centered and male-directed movies? Is it somehow, a fault in me that even though, I proclaim to be a proponent of equal rights for everyone of all genders, does that make me a hypocrite? And so I did some reading, and this is what I came up with. So, according to a report by the Annenberg School at USC's Media Diversity and Social Change Initiative, and as always, resources in the description, which was released back in 2014, this is the study, it revealed that only 28.1% of characters in that year's top 100 films were female, and of that percentage, only 21 had a female lead or co-lead. All right, so what can we get from that? So first of all, obvious kind of social commentary on that is, the real lack of female characters, not female characters, but female characters with substance, realistically written female characters in cinema. And that leads to a pretty jarring and obvious and pervasive lack of accurate and positive representation of women in media, including film. And things on the other side of the camera are even worse, with women making up just 1.9% of directors, 1.9%, and 11.2% of writers, and 18.9% of producers. So really, it's no wonder that there's such a lack of accurate female representation in film, is because women aren't writing women. Men are writing women. Vaishnavi, in your video, you gave a really detailed and excellent analysis of the Bechdel test, which I thought was very interesting and instructive for me personally. And that relates back to the female representation concept. If we examine the percent of dialogue on screen between characters, not only by gender, but also the intersection of age and gender. So I'm gonna put a table right here, and this table shows that male actors tend to get more roles as they get older, but opportunities for female actors tend to decrease as they age. And in addition, 39% of male actors on screen are aged between 42 and 65, compared to just 20% of women in the same age bracket. So this statistic gives us some really interesting commentary on how my society, our society, values women in relation to their age. And it tells us a lot about how society values the social purpose of women and how the social purpose of women is conceived. So conceived might be an apt word here, because a lot of times in film, I think Vaishnavi, as you mentioned before, women are seen as objects, as conduits, as mechanisms for reproduction or to serve a certain purpose in the narrative, but a male-driven narrative. So Vaishnavi, that goes back to your point about the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. She is a character, she's an archetype in film, and she may appear to have a degree of complexity, but is more often than not written by a man and serves to fulfill a purpose in the narrative that is not her own. She's fulfilling a purpose that drives a male-centered and male-written narrative. According to a TED Talk by Stacy Smith, approximately 56% of box office purchasers are women. Yet, quote, "the entertainment industry does not trust us as an audience," unquote. So there seems to be this belief that while women will see movies with a woman or a man protagonist, men will only see movies with a man protagonist. I've heard the argument that maybe women as a group don't have the same proclivity for directorial traits that men do, and that's why they don't become directors at the same rates as men. And I've also heard, women aren't funny, and that's why they're not as successful in comedy or comedy writing, is because, women as a group simply don't have the traits that would make them suited to that kind of profession. A let the cards fall where they may kind of argument. And to that, I would again like to relate it back to one of my own experiences, which is once I was watching a comedian, and she was from the rural north of England, and she was playing to a crowd in the rural north of England, and she was killing it with her crowd. Like, they were cracking up in the video that I watched, but I didn't find her particularly funny, or I didn't find her material particularly funny because I didn't find it as relatable. I didn't understand her jokes, and so I didn't respond to them in the same way. But that's not so much a commentary on her talent as it is on her audience. I was not her target audience. I am a 19-year-old American from the metropolitan American South. And so, of course, she's not playing to me, she's playing to a specific audience. And I thought, well, maybe if I don't find her material particularly funny, maybe it's not for me. And not everything has to be for me. Not all media has to be for me. Some things are targeted towards specific groups of people, and if you don't understand it, or if I don't understand it, I still attempt to appreciate it for its artistic merit, and the people that do find it engaging and do find it relatable and do find it significant. And then after I engage with that work or with that actor, comedian, musician, etc., now I feel incredibly grateful because I've had the opportunity to expand my mind and the range of things that I find funny, because I've had this new experience with this new kind of art or artist. And so that is my take on what is an incredibly, incredibly large, broad, and complex issue of sexism in the film industry. So thank you so much. I am so excited to have this opportunity. And to everyone else watching, hello, I'm glad you're here. Nice to meet you. I'm Katie, if you don't know. And to Maggie and Vaishnavi, I'll see you next week. Bye.